Warm greetings to one and all joining us for this pre-recorded show. We are recording early doors on Saturday morning, and this is for the meeting that we've all been looking forward to, racing on Hollywoodbets Turf at Hollywoodbets Greyville on a 10-race program. 11:40 will be the opener, an early start, and race number 1 over 1,400 meters. Let's go have a rerun of Gotta Go Eddie when finishing second on debut, and then an interview with the conditioner, Matthew de Kock.
Blackjack Randall now comes into the lead. Like Fire on the outside, War of Dynamite. Gotta Go Eddie still got 2 or 3 to go. Fortress of Fire takes it up though. And it's Fortress of Fire over the 200. Fortress of Fire, and that's not for the catching. Fortress of Fire to win by about 3. Gotta Go Eddie, then came Like Fire, maybe Alana ran fourth.
Yes, it was a nice debut. He was very green, did a lot wrong. But he hit the line nice and strongly, which gave us indication that stepping him up to 1,400 is going to be no problem for him. He's made nice natural improvement at home, so we're once again expecting a top run from him.
As you heard from Matthew de Kock, they're expecting a top run, and I think most will be expecting this one to end up in the winner's enclosure. Opened up at 9 to 10, that was quickly snapped up down 7 to 10. There was plenty support for the Sunner, give me the green light first time out, and from 5 to 2 shortened down 7 to 10 at one stage, went off around 11 to 10. The word was a very, very nice type. There was a slight concern with all the rains about, and once again we've had wishy-washy weather, so there's a few horses who are going to come up a little bit short, and they did say number 6, Gotta Go Eddie. The only concern was they were a gallop short, so they did miss out on an interrupted preparation there, and although he was well beaten on that occasion, I think he's a horse crying out for the extra 200 meters, and he could be a cut above this field. The fact that they have stepped him over the 1,400 early on, second time out, the indications are all there. Scratch number 10, George's Magic in the first race, and the money's for number 6, Gotta Go Eddie, and I think the Mike and Matthew de Kock stable are going to start on a high. Looking at that debut, a little bit at sea early on, he took his time to warm up, but he looks a classy individual, and if he is going to have a bit of a future, one would expect him to come through with flying colours. Number 1, Bell of Angeles, the filly with 57 kilograms on the back. Went the 1100 last time out, now goes the 1400 meter trip, would shape up the main danger on paper. And then number 8, Amber Alert, who did finish 6.3 lengths behind Fortress of Fire, will find it difficult to turn the form around with number 6, Gotta Go Eddie. However, these juveniles improve at different rates. Number 9, Like Fire, is also in that form line, and then you throw in a horse like number 5, Hollywood Heiress. But when it comes down to the crunch, number 6, Gotta Go Eddie, I'm not one that goes head on to odds-on favourites. I like my lurkers and my roughies. That's how I stay in the game. But at face value, Gotta Go Eddie could just be a cut above this field in race number 1. As we move along to race number 2 will be the opening leg of the bipart, and without any further ado, let's go to the interview package, and we have 2 trainers, Frank Robinson and also Stuart Ferry, to give us a little bit more guidance.
Yeah, he was disappointing, but he doesn't go on a heavy poly track. He likes the firm of the grass, so put a line to that. He'll be back to his best on the grass.
Yeah, he ran a good race last on. The race didn't go well at all, and he stayed on really well to run third. And we want to try him over the 18, see what it is here. And yeah, he's fitting well at home. And like I say, his last couple of starts have been really honest. Yeah, like you say, last one a bit on the sharp side. She's run well at Greyville, so yeah, she's a nice backup.
Yeah, look, he was stiff. He should have won the Gold Cup, but he had such a hard race. I actually felt so sorry for the horse. So what I did was gave him 6 months off and galled him at the same time. There was no really issues with him, but I just felt a very hard season. He's come back nice now. He's nice and fresh. He looks good for the season. Obviously, we'll target those races, but we need to start somewhere. So we start, he'll be competitive. He's not 100%. He battled out some. I felt there's no grass. We're just working off the sand. We had a lot of rain, intermittent work, but he is very well in himself. He will improve a lot from the run. So I'm sure he'll be competitive because of his class, but he's not 100% wound up.
Well, as you heard, not 100% wound up, and when I was doing my calculations, I said hopefully he's about 85% ready, and that should be good enough to dispose of this field. Even though it's over a distance sharp of his best, I'm hoping that class will prevail. Of course, he ran in the big feature races over distance, 3,200 meters, 3,000 meters, went second to Madison Valley, second to Master Redoute in a big field from a 15 out of 15 draw. And when you look at the best weighted column, he comes in tops by a country mile. But let's take a look here. Shoot the Rapids. He's been gelded. They said he had a very, very hard season. But the thing that I really took out of that interview, he's come back fresh and he's feeling well. So the 1800, although if it was a little bit further, 2000, 2200, I'd be a lot more confident. He is your current favorite and he is currently trading at around 15 to 10. The second favorite, number 5, Broadway Girl, at a price of 28 to 10. 33 to 10, number 3, Capsaicin. 7 to 2, number 4, Palermo. And this quartet have the rest of them on the stretch, 12 to 1 and better. So at the end of the day, you got to be the judge. Shoot the Rapids. He's way best weighted in this field. He's been gelded. He's been running in the average company of a 107 when second to Master Redoute last time out. He's gone to a 112 in the ratings. And I'm just hoping that his class will prevail here. Because when you look at the opposition, there's nothing that should really be able to beat him on form. Although, when you look at Shoot the Rapids, he is coming back from the rest. You've heard about all the rains we've had in KwaZulu-Natal. So this would be a horse that I'd watch in the preliminaries, watch go down to the start, and hopefully all things being equal, the class will rise and the cream will rise to the top. So race number 2, I'm going to go with number 6, Shoot the Rapids, to win. For that second position, number 5, Broadway Girl. She's an honest mare, 5-year-old bay mare, and she's got 3 victories, of which 3 have come on the turf, and she's a horse who could give a bit of a cheek. Then number 3, Capsaicin, and after that, number 2, the Mikado. But number 6, Shoot the Rapids, even 85% ready over the 1800 meter trip. Hopefully they go a decent tempo up front, and I am expecting the class to rise above this field. Welcome back as we head on to the journey along to race number 3 over a distance of 2,000 meters. And just looking at race number 3, the opening leg of the place accumulator, we do have an interview here with trainer Frank Robinson, and let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, look, he's got his issues. He's got unsoundness issues. I mean, my horse, I gave him a lot of time. Very nice race the other day, coming back. I think he'll probably need one more, and then he'll be ready by the 3rd time. It's quite a strong maidenness, but throw him in your quartets and trifectas because he's got the ability. That's one thing about him.
So there we go. One of the days the Green Gallant is going to pop up, but when you look at this field, number 3 Silver Platter is coming back from a 100-day absence, and that is currently second favourite at 7-2. The odds-on favourite, number 7 Bad Medicine, making the KwaZulu-Natal debut for the Alison Wright camp. Bad Medicine, 4-year-old gelded son of Vercingetorix, exceptionally well bred, and is currently at 9-10. 3 Silver Platter 7-2. Number 5 Kazi 4-1, and you can get 6-1 about number 6 Fire Force. 16-1 bar those. Now let's start off with number 3 Silver Platter, who I believe could just be the value at around 7-2. Albeit that he's coming back from that lengthy absence. He's run second to Mr. Fix-It, second to Richard the Fearless, and he's a horse who's got the ability to win a race like this, but fitness side could just be against him. He's one of those horses that might have just needed an extra week or two, an extra gallop or two to be 100%, but nevertheless at 7-2, I believe he's going to run an absolute screamer, number 3 Silver Platter. When you go to the favourite, number 7, Bad Medicine, exceptionally well bred. He's a 3-year-old. They'll both carry the 60 kilograms on their back. Comes here with a 5th, a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, a 6th, a 7th. So if you're going to read by form lines and go by the pattern, a victory should be on the cards here if you're going to go that route. However, we don't know too much about this individual. He's been in the care of Alison Wright from about the 11th of February, 54 days since having that last run. And another horse we're not quite sure in the work program, because we've had plenty of rain in KwaZulu-Natal. A number of the players have been messed around a bit with the weather patterns, haven't been able to get the work in, sufficient work for them. And here's another point in case where Bad Medicine, you're going to have to watch this horse in the preliminaries and go down to the start, and perhaps the presenter on course might be able to get a comment about 3 Silver Platter and number 7 Bad Medicine to see exactly where they are in their work program. And if they give the thumbs up, I think that could just seal the deal. So between number 7 Bad Medicine and number 3 Silver Platter, that's where I believe the winner will come from. And then the horse who has the racing fitness on the side, number 5 Kazi from the Louis Goosen stable. Much improved last run. That was the career best, went fourth 2.7 lengths behind Saxon Dynasty. Did go off at 100-1, so let's see if this individual will confirm the form. And number 8, the Green Gallant, he's one of those horses who will pop up one of these days. So in summarizing race number 3, number 7, Bad Medicine, 9-10, a little bit skinny for me, but if the stable does say had enough work and showing very good work back home, could be the one to beat. However, number 3, Silver Platter, despite probably just going to be needing the run, I think that could be the value at around 7-2 in race number 3 over 2,000 meters. As we move along to race number 4, which will be the opening leg of the all-important Pick 6, race number 4 over 2,000 meters. And let's go to the interview package and see what their respective conditioners have to say.
Yeah, she's a nice staying filly. She's bringing the Joburg form here, so she's got to be a good each-way chance.
Yeah, exactly. He's completely opposite to the Mikado. He loves the heavy polytrack. The heavier that is, the better he is. Look, there was no races, so I thought I'll run him back on the grass just to keep him fit. He'll be competitive, but like I say, it's better, I think, on a heavy track. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Yeah, he's drawn a bit wide, but we'll leave him alone, let him run on and keep him fit.
So there we have the respective words from the conditioners. Getting down to the crunch now, the betting has number 2, which is Blackberry Breeze, trading at 28-10. Number 5, Katazora, is 4-1, along with number 8, Arverni King, 4-1. Number 6, Lucretius, 5-1, and then number 11, Duke of Africa at 6-1. Important scratching, number 9, JP's Palace, which makes it a little bit easier for the rest of the field. But when it comes down to the crunch, number 2, Blackberry Breeze, is probably the horse to beat. He's a 4-year-old son of Silvano. And if he's looking at the 2 local efforts to date behind Numzan and Hodgepodge, I believe they would have learnt a lot about this individual and would have just needed those 2 runs. And when it comes down to racing fitness, was last seen out 16 days ago. And that could be crucial because the amount of rain we've had here in the last 2 months, 2.5 months, close to, I'd say, 400-500 millimeters of rain. And these horses, they're going to feel it. The bigger horses, you'll see some of them start sweating up. Look for the telltale signs. But here's a horse who ran just over 2 weeks ago, so they would have had to just keep him ticking along. And off his current rating, I think he's going to be a big factor to be taken into account. Blackberry Breeze, he did beat Marauding Horde earlier on when winning the maiden. He's run behind the likes of Twatwa Cut. And then his 2 local introductions, I think he would have just needed those, so he would have tightened up significantly. And with 56.5 kilograms on his back, I'll put him narrowly in my first box. Ahead of number 8, Arverni King. Then we go number 5, Katazora. And for me, the value in the race is number 3, Konda Ekukanyeni. This is the daughter of Global View, taking on the boys. But the merit rating drop and the claim, I think that could be a serious enhancement. From a 77 drop down to a 74, and then JC Boertes comes into claim. In the tactics department, a horse who likes to race up with the speed, and I think if there's not too much pace on early on, and Konda Ekukanyeni gets an early lead and an easy lead or sits up second, might be able to skip and cause a bit of a stir here. So with the scratching of number 9, JP's Palace, I'm going to go number 2, Blackberry Breeze, to get back into the winner's enclosure. And then we're going to look at number 8, Arverni King, number 5, Katazora the filly, and another filly, number 3, Konda Ekukanyeni, who could just provide the knockout blow. Welcome back for race number 5 at Hollywoodbets Greyville, where the false rail is set 8 meters out from the inside running rail. And at this point in time, the track condition is soft, but we are recording early, so it will dry up a little bit more. But those horses who enjoy the sting out the ground, keep a very close eye on these horses. They're going to come to the fore. When it comes to race number 5, we do have an interview here. It's time to run to Rio with Stuart Ferry.
Yeah, luckily he's dropped down a few points, so he gets out of that range where he has to carry 64. So this will be much better. His last 3 starts have been okay, you know. So now he's dropping down the handicap in that sort of field. Nice draw. He's got to be competitive.
Well, I'm afraid to say I'm not going to be very much help here. I'm going to go the field in my exotics in race number 5. And the reason being, you can make a case for quite a few of these horses. A number of them are limited. They're well tried and tested. And therefore, you don't want to go and have a big wager. Maybe try some swingers, exactors, and the quartet in this contest. But the betting has number 6, Future Saint, currently trading at 28-10. That is your favorite. And when you look at number 6, Future Saint, is coming off a 4th behind Mac Hardy and a close 3rd behind Beach Palace last time out. This is a runner who runs a little bit in and out, but if you go back in the earlier form, has run in the merit-rated 80s behind Nocturnal Flight and 1 or 2 better horses. Officer in Command, where the average rating was an 83. But that elusive second victory is taking a long time to come. So Future Saint, watch this fella go down to the start, see if he's free-flowing, and he'll have as good a chance as any. Number 10, Pongola, is your second favorite at 5-1. Both wins this course on the turf, and a form return last time went 4th behind Terminator. From that draw, Pongola likes to race off the speed, so the quicker they go, the better for number 10, Pongola. Has won in the wet before, loves the course, so there's quite a bit to like about number 10, Pongola, and I could see number 10, Pongola, mowing them down that last 200 to finish. Number 4, Bally Magic, 3rd in the betting at 6-1. Number 2, Animal Impact at 7-1. With number 5, Run to Rio, and a whole host of runners. Elusive Bell, Barcy Reichfoot. They're all there 7 and 8-1. And then it's 10-1 and better the rest. There has been an early claim on number 1, Shiny Bob, from 33-1 down 20-1. And just look at those 2 dismal post-maiden efforts, but did have valid excuses. So let's see number 1, Shiny Bob. If you are looking for a lurker in the pack, the anti-post market has said 33-1 will take that, down 20-1. Number 4, Bally Magic, looked exquisite last time out, but on that run behind Beach Palace, number 6, Future Saint, should hold the aces there, but nevertheless throw number 4, Bally Magic. Number 8, Forest Jump, for me is an interesting runner with the 4 kgs off the back. Had it been a little bit shorter, I would have been a little bit more confident, but let's just have a look here. 25-1, so that might just be the jumper in the pack. Throw in number 8, Forest Jump, and then when you look beyond that, it becomes an absolute nightmare. So my suggestion is go with the field in race number 5. If you had to put me in a corner here, I'd probably say that number 10, Pongola, that would be the horse that number 6, Future Saint, has most to fear. And then if you're looking for the total upset, number 8, Forest Jump, who knows, this 8-year-old might come alive with the 4 kgs off the back. Welcome back as we jump hurdle number 6, which is over 1,600 meters. And before we go through and dissect the field, let's go to our interview package. And we have quite a few trainers lined up for you here.
Yeah, very, very nice horse. He has been unlucky, but he does get a bit worked up and he pulls a bit hard. But now he'll be very competitive. Yeah, he must have a massive chance in this race. He's had racing, so he's pretty fit. And his horse with a draw makes the world of difference to him because he can travel a bit hard. So luckily we drew one. Gavin's on him, so he's a big runner.
Look, he seems to be a better horse at Scottsville. I think it's more of a testing track. But, he's run some good races, Greyville. Unfortunately, races, we can't really do much planning at the moment with the abandonment of meetings and the amount of rain we're having. So we're taking our chances. He's pretty well drawn. He's well in himself, and he's always a horse, if there's a hot pace in a race, he'll give a good account of himself.
Yeah, it was a very good run. He doesn't seem to be quite concentrating, so I've equipped him with blinkers for the first time on Sunday. He's in very good order. The blinkers appear to have sharpened him up, and despite them giving him £2 for running third, which I think was very unfair, he should be competitive on Sunday. Her work is solid heading in. However, she's a little bit behind. We are a little bit behind the black ball with her in that we've had limited access to tracks and gallops, so she's likely to need the outing.
He's doing very well. His work this morning was excellent. He unfortunately got a very wide trip last start. He was 3 wide the whole way around, and he still stuck on really well. He was entitled to probably run a lot further back than he did. So I think he's a good chance on the weekend.
So on to race number 6 we go, and I'm afraid it doesn't get much easier, being a B stakes for all horses with a net rating of 101 and below. Number 6, Sign of Fate, comes out when it comes to the best weighted column, comes out on top. Then we have number 8, Mascarina. So you'll see that the fillies are at the head of affairs. Then number 2, Famous Warrior, 4, Sundance Kid, and number 3, African Dusk. So you can throw a blanket over this field when it comes to the best weighted column. And let's kick off with the favourite, number 1, Field Marshal, at 28 to 10. Now, what I took out of that interview, and I'm sure you also did, is very important. The horse is fit, number 1, Field Marshal. He can get a little bit worked up, but they're obviously working on things. They're getting on top of things. He ran a second to African Skyline, an average rating of a 102 last time out. So you've got to give this individual healthy respect. 3 runs back, he absolutely obliterated the opposition. And you go back to his earlier form behind Great Plains. Those form lines are worked out well. And he's a horse who's got a decent turn of foot. He can race up handy. But depending on the conditions on the day, he has one in the wet before, 2 seconds. So the sting out the ground, no problem for number 1, Field Marshal. And 1,600 meters, no problem either. So number 1, Field Marshal, you have to give healthy respect to. When you look beyond number 1, Field Marshal, let's take a look. Number 5, Kitchicle, 33 to 10. You heard from Duncan Howells, a better Hollywoodbets Scottsville horse, but has run 2 seconds at the course here. 2 wins over the distance of the 3 wins to date. And when you look at that Johnny the Thief form line, it's very prominent here. A number of those horses are coming from that Johnny the Thief form line here. And that's what brings me to number 4, Sundance Kid. If you can draw a line through those last 2 efforts, ran 4.7 lengths behind Gladiatorian, ran behind Oriental Charm, Cape Eagle, Get Impressed. So I think the 14 to 1 could be some each way value on number 4, Sundance Kid. Obviously, if you look at that last run, number 5, Kitchicle has this one well held. Number 7, I Salute You, and they should have this one held on form. But sometimes you've got to think outside of the box. 27 days ago, Sundance Kid, awkward early, the vet found nothing obvious detected. So my lurker in the pack will be number 4, Sundance Kid. If you go back to those earlier runs when running behind Oriental Charm, the average rating was a 104, behind Cape Eagle a 103, and behind Get Impressed a 102. A runner who likes to be on the speed and there or thereabouts. So for me, number 4, Sundance Kid at 14 to 1 would represent the value. Nice to hear what Peter Muscat had to say about number 7, I Salute You. I know from the day one they said this is a horse with a reputation and can work. They said he's not really concentrating and putting it in, but the blinkers seem to have done the trick there. After that, number 5, Kitchikill, that did run second to Johnny the Thief last time out, and they'll be hoping for a good pace. And then, of course, you've got to respect number 6, Sign of Fate, on the best weighted column. But when push comes to shove, I believe number 1, Field Marshal, will be the horse they got to beat. But for me, number 4, Sundance Kid, that could be the fly in the ointment. Next up will be race number 7, and this is the race of the day, the King's Cup listed, race number 7, over 1,600 metres, and this is for all horses, no allowances. And for race number 7, Stuart Ferry and Frank Robinson's comments.
Yeah, so same weight terms as the last one, sort of pinnacle type race. Yeah, listen, we missed the prep run that was cancelled, but yeah, I think I've done enough at home, and he's off a nice draw. Like I said to you off air, lack of pace worries me a little, but yeah, listen, like you say, he's the best horse in the race, and let's hope he's good enough on the day.
Yeah, look, he was unlucky. If he had a draw, I think we would have gone very close. He was a rig, so we've galled him, and normally improve a bit when they are rigs, because one of their testicles is stuck up in the stomach, in the intestine. So we did that up on him, and he's come back, and I think he's improved a bit. He's obviously not 100% wound up, same sort of scenario as Shoot the Rapids, but he is class. Mile is probably his least distance he'll go, but he'll run well because he's fresh and he's classy. So just throw him in all your exotics. I think that's the best way here.
So there you've heard from Frank Robinson, thrown to all of your exotics. When it comes to race number 7, number 2, Gladiatorian sets the bar. He's an 8-time winning son of Vercingetorix, and he's currently trading at a price of 2-1. When you look at the second and third picks in the betting, number 3, Miss Platina at 4-1, and number 5, Perilla at 6-1, with number 8, Former Gear, and number 9, Narina Trogon. Number 1, Winter Games, and number 4, Madison Valley 8-1, 14-1, and Better the Balance. Now you got to be the judge here, and you got to make your mind up. The class package by a country mile is number 2, Gladiatorian. Of course, he's run behind the best of them. He's run second to Dice over the 1160 at Turfentine. He's beaten a Malenza Yorker de Duma, good traveller. He ran third behind Royal Aussie, and that was in the Dullall Stakes. And then 3.9 lengths behind Dave the King. So he's met the best of them. He beat the Shepherd, the Epis literally 3 runs or 4 runs back. And then last time out, he disposed of Q Wing. He's a big, stocky, strong son of Vercingetorix, and you heard from Stuart Ferry, he did miss out on his prep run, which is a slight concern, and that's where you might be leaning towards the filly and the mare. 3, Miss Platina, 11.5 kilograms between Gladiatorian and Miss Platina, and Perilla carries the 52 kilograms, and that could come into play because Miss Platina, fresh off a workmanlike victory when beating the boys, and Muzi Yeni said the 1750 should probably be better over slightly shorter, and they did say there's a lack of pace in the race for Gladiatorian. And number 3, Miss Platina, she's a horse who's notched up 4 victories. She looked well weighted last time out to take the boys on and beat them, and she did exactly that. Now, number 5, Perillo, always runs on when the race is over, but this, with the 52 kilograms on the back, you've got to give this one healthy respect. So at the end of the day, number 2, Gladiatorian, he is the class package. The horses that he's run behind, Winchester Mansion, he ran second, who won the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's run behind the best of the best, and he is the best horse in the field. So even 90% ready for the run, even with the weight on his back, he should be able to go very close to winning. But then you're going to have those who say the filly and the mare, number 3, Miss Platina, and number 5, Perilla. They might have the aces up their sleeve with the fitness on their side. So at the end of the day, Gladiatorian is the class package, but healthy respect for number 3, Miss Platina, and to number 5, Perilla. They don't know how to run bad races, and if Gladiatorian comes up for some air, they might be able to show him who's boss on the day. As we head into the zone of race number 8, we do have a rerun of Burning Man, and also we have Duncan Howells and Matthew de Kock with some comments for their respective runners.
Winter Waves also goes in for a run. They come from everywhere. Burning Man still leads it at the 200. Kings Island, Agrado, Give Me the Good Life. Turpitz is warming up on the inside as they come down to the 200. Burning Man, Turpitz a big runner on the inside, and Turpitz takes it up to win it, and Turpitz has won it. Burning Man second, maybe Kings Island third, Agrado fourth.
Not a bad horse. His last run was decent. It was in very soft ground. I got the impression, even though he'd won in with cut in the ground the run before, that it was too heavy for him that day. He's not a very big horse. So I think at the weights in this type of race, he's definitely got a chance, and I would include him in trifectas and quartets.
Yes, her work's been good. We scratched her last time because she was drawn 14 out of 14, and then this time she's drawn 10 out of 10 again, so 11 out of 11. So it's a big disadvantage for us. Hopefully she gets a bit of luck in running, but her work is good, and she probably should be included in all exotics.
Well, this is a race where you're going to be the judge, and you're going to need to decide exactly which step you're going to take in this race, because race number 8 over the 1600 meter trip, we have number 4 Burning Man, who's in the form of his life, off a runaway victory. Ran second to Notable, was pushed up a point, and then got pushed up 2 points for a well-beaten run behind Turpitz last time out. So unfortunately has gone up 1.5 kilograms in the ratings department. And also against Burning Man and my other selection, number 1 Bowie, they're a little bit vulnerable over the mile trip. So let's look at the betting. 5-2 Burning Man. Number 5 Rooster Bradshaw 5-1. Number 6 Terminator 5-1. Number 1 Bowie 7-1 with number 7 Mr. Nibbles, and number 3 Sonata Samaritan at 8-1, 10-1, and better the rest. Now, when I first studied the book, I said I'm going to go number 4 Burning Man and number 1 Bowie as my top 2 selections. However, when push comes to the crunch, the tried and tested is number 6 Terminator, who jumps off the page, being a winner over the distance and also having a placing. Last time out, look at that money, 10-1 down 9-2. The penultimate run was supported, and 3 runs back went off favourite behind Burning Man. So at the end of the day, Terminator is a horse who definitely sees out the 1600 metre trip, as showing last time out when leading all the way and finding extra, has gone up 3 points. Burning Man's gone up to 3 points for running second his last 2 runs, and he's also been a little bit vulnerable over the mile trip. Number 1, Bowie. Had this been 1400 metres, I would have said empty out at 7-1. I would have thought that this is the class package in the race. Once upon a time was a 99, is racing off an 83, so has dropped 3 points for the latest run. And with the shorter run in here at Hollywoodbets Greyville, I'm just hoping that the pace is not too hot, and maybe number 1 Bowie could provide some value at around 7-1. So putting me in a corner, I'm going against my rules, because Bowie is a better 1400 metre horse, likewise number 4 Burning Man. But I just got a feeling that number 1 Bowie could be the class package and win this event. Number 6 Terminator, I'm going to throw that one in for second because he is tried and tested over the distance. Third, the way of number 4 Burning Man. And then when you look beyond these runners, number 7 Mr. Nibbles is a horse who suffers from heat distress and 1 or 2 little issues, but I'm sure he's going to go very well because he is weighted to turn it around with Terminator. So if you are going on the weights department, you've got to throw in number 7 Mr. Nibbles. But race number 8, highly competitive. Logically, number 6 Terminator fits the bill as the likely winner, but I'm going to think outside the box and go with number 1 Bowie to beat 6 Terminator and number 4 Burning Man. As we head along to the last 2 hurdles, races 9 and 10 at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Race number 9 is run over a distance of 1600 metres. And let's go to the package where we can see number 9, Papa C, finishing second. And then we've also got Matthew de Kock, Duncan Howells and Stuart Ferry to hopefully guide us and give us some information.
Record high towards the inside, trying to close in from behind Parmenian, but at the 200 it's Terminator, Global Movement, Ragnar the King's running on Pongola, Papa C on the outside, Terminator from Mr. Nibbles the last 100 and Global Movement's running on, but Terminator's got them locked and loaded. Mr. Nibbles or Papa C, I think Papa C second, Mr. Nibbles, Pongola, then came Global Movement behind these runners.
Yes, he can improve. His last start, he was taking a bit of time to get going in the race, but he's taking benefit from that run and can run a much better race.
Papa C, I thought he was very unlucky last time out. He couldn't get a run, and he ended up having to switch from the inside of the track to the outside. Came with a hell of a finish. But he's had his issues in life, and unfortunately you've got to take it race by race, but he's very well in himself. I do also believe that he's a better horse at Scottsville. But, if he has luck in running and we get a solid gallop in the race, he'll be running on at the finish of the race, and definitely a type of horse that can run into the money.
Yeah, we say that, but his last run was really good too. And he needed that after the break. And draw is not a concern because he likes to race up handy, so we jump and place him. And like I said, he needed the last one, and he's definitely stripping a fair horse this time.
Well, looking at race number 9, and I think this is where you got to take a shot in the dark. They are betting 5-1 the field, so you're going to make up your decision. You'll find a fancy. I've gone with a whole host of runners here, so I'm not going to go through each and every runner. And looking at the betting, number 1, Chill in the Air, and number 9, Papa C are both trading at 5-1. Number 7, Red Mountain 11-2 with number 8, Jazz Festival 11-2. Number 2, Festival of Magic at 7-1 with 6, Global Movement, and then we go 10-1 and better the rest. Of the long shots, number 4, Ibuta 25-1. That would be a horse that I'd throw into my calculations as far as the exotics go. And just talking about Ibuto, a 7-time winner. He loves the distance. He is a big, strong boy. And I think that he's the type of horse at a big price that could be a little bit of a stirrer there. So number 4, Ibuto. He's done us some very good turns in the past. He is a big boy. He's a 7-year-old son of Duke of Marmalade. And it's clear to see that he is better on the poly, but he has got the 1 win on the turf. And he did run 27 days ago, so I hope that they've done enough work. They've managed to keep him ticking over, and he could just be the fly in the ointment to cause a bit of a stir. On the other hand, number 1, Chill in the Air, racing fitness, a big concern. Off the track, 165 days, lovely looking specimen, but he's coming straight out the maidens, and he's going to have to prove his worth here. He did beat Brave Bomber on that occasion. The form lines have been franked, but Michael Roberts is not one to push his individuals. So let's see this individual in the preliminaries, see if there's a lot of sweat, see this one going down to the start, see how fresh he is, and I think that could tell the tale. Now, number 9, Papa C is my first selection. I made that my first selection. He's a horse who runs anywhere. He runs Hollywoodbets Scottsville. He runs Hollywoodbets Greyville. He's got 2 wins here. Duncan did say he's a slightly better horse at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, and that's probably just because of the little bit of a longer run, and he gets that little bit of extra time to gain that momentum. But after running second to Terminator last time out, let's see how Terminator goes earlier on in the day. And Papa C has no problem with the sting out the ground in the soft conditions. He must be a massive runner. The value for me could be number 2, Festival of Magic, a horse who's been in and out, has had his issues along the way, as you'll see in his form lines, not striding out, some other excuses along the way, but had a run 21 days ago and did run behind Terminator on that occasion, and he might be able to pop up number 2, Festival of Magic. When you look at the rest of the field, number 6, Global Movement, in some fair form at the moment, so you've got to throw this one in, and number 7, Red Mountain. But when you put me in a corner, it's a race where it's going to be very, very trappy. Number 9, Papa C. I'd like to put my head on the block and say have a strong bet or a nice bet on this, but I'm afraid I can't give you that confidence. But he will be my narrow first selection. The value for me lies with number 2, Festival of Magic. He has a horse who's raced recently and could be in the firing line. And then the other value bet, number 4, Ibuto. Although he is coming towards the end of his career, he's a soldier, and at 25-1, I wouldn't be scared to throw him in. And who knows, maybe have a each way little wager. Bringing down the curtain at Hollywoodbets Greyville will be race number 10. And when you look at race number 10, we do have a rerun of number 4, Don Carrari, when looking very dangerous. And we've also got an interview passage with Matthew de Kock and also trainer Duncan Hales.
With the white headgear moves up to attack. On the inside, Luhamba Pambile. Kalahari Roller and Don Carrari's running a big race on the inside. 200 to go. Kalahari Roller, Don Carrari on the inside. Don Carrari and Kalahari Roller. These are the two in a stirring duel the last 100. Kalahari Roller's going to win it from Don Carrari. Luhamba Pambile, and then came Captain's Christie.
Yes, last time we ran him over 1200 at Scottsville, as you'll see, and he actually moved up very well. He headed the winner. And it's hard to believe that he then ran last because he got very, very tired. So we learned a bit from that run. It was his first run for the stable. Back to the 5 furlongs is definitely going to suit him. Draw 1. He's made a lot of improvement between runs, so we're expecting a much improved run.
Yeah, I did look a winner. I wouldn't say it was unlucky. I think we were just beaten on the day by Louis Goosen's horse got there in front of us, but a very good run for a 3-year-old. He was beaten by a 6-year-old who'd come down in the ratings. He's a nice sort of a horse. He does need a bit of luck in running, and he's just come off a little bit of a virus. So I would expect he could need the run slightly with the amount of rain we had, but he's also wouldn't leave out of quartets and trifectas.
So that's quite interesting, coming off a virus, but definitely worth throwing into the trifectas and quartets. And that is your current favourite, number 7, 21 May, trading at 7-2. Number 10, Jet Legacy, 6-1. Number 4, Don Carrari, 7-1. Number 11, Connery at 7-1. And we also have number 12, Northern Warrior at 7-1. Number 5, Golden Rule, looking at this son of Canford Cliffs, currently at 8-1. And number 1, Mojo Man, who I am throwing into the play, back to 1,000 metres and needing that last run, could be a little bit of value at 10-1. But for me, I'm going to go number 4, Don Carrari, to win, to get victory number 7. I'm going to go for number 4, Don Carrari at 7-1 to get that 7th victory. Last time out, moved up very, very dangerously, and I think we'll turn the form around with Kalahari Roller at the weights, and I think he's got the ability to win this. So I'm going to make this one of the value plays on the day, race 10, number 4, Don Carrari. If you go back to his earlier form over 1,000 metres at Hollywoodbets Greyville, third to King of the Gauls, beaten just over 2 lengths. Run behind Luna Cam, Quasi for sure, and of course William Robinson and Cat's Pajamas. So he's taken on some quality sprinters, and I think this could be his time to shine. It has been 270 days, and the 4 kgs off his back. Blaine Marks Jacobson would have got a good feel for him last time, and around the turn, if he handles him well, I believe he's a huge runner at 7-1. Number 1, Mojo Man, an interesting runner. Last time out the 1,200 metres, and his distance form over 1,000. All 3 wins have come over 1,000. And last time you heard from the stable, he came up for air inside the last 200. He got a nice warm-up. He got a look at the course. He's now come to Hollywoodbets Greyville, and I think he's going to make a bold showing at 10-1. Duncan Hales mentioned 21 May. He did have a bit of a virus, so a slight setback, and also with the weather patterns, maybe just 1 or 2 gallops short of being off his very best, and they would have had to just back off while they had that virus. So things might not be cut and dried for number 7, 21 May. Number 8, Kalahari Roller, definitely worth a mention after beating Don Carrari last time out. Would come into the play, and then horses like number 10, Jet Legacy, and unfortunately number 11, Connery, is drawn out quite wide over the 1,000. So when push comes to shove in race number 10, I think number 4, Don Carrari at 7-1 could provide the value, and Blaine Marks Jacobson, who rode him last time out, could get that 7th victory out of them, and he absolutely loves the distance. There's a lot to like about Don Carrari, and race number 10, I'm going to say, number 4, Don Carrari, and number 1, Mojo Man. Those are the horses to play around with some value, swingers, exactors, and the likes. But for me, Don Carrari from number 1, Mojo Man, and then you take your pick after that. Welcome back to that part of the show where we give our suggested bet for the meeting, and this meeting intact will be the 23rd of March, Sunday, Hollywoodbets Greyville, racing on the turf. And the best bet, well, very easy to find, race 1, number 6, Gotta Go Eddie. It's not often that I tip odds-on favourites, and my logic is I don't back odds-on favourites. My game is the each-way play and horses that are at a decent price and you can make some money. But when it comes to the first race, number 6, Gotta Go Eddie, the confidence that we got from the yard first time out, and just getting the feel he's a horse who's going to go on and probably run in some of the juvenile feature races, he could prove a cut above the average. Opened up 9 to 10, they have backed him down 7 to 10, and whilst I don't like to tip odds on favourites and have a bet, this does look to be the exception to the rule, and I'm going to go with Gotta Go Eddie. And then, as we mentioned earlier on in the race by race preview, at around 7 to 1, race 10, number 4, Don Karori. For me, this fits the bill as the play of the day when it comes to the value. A decent second to Kalahari Roller last time out. He's run behind William Robinson, Cat's Pajamas, and King of the Gauls. So I think with the 4 kgs off the back, he is one of the best weighted horses around, and he's going to come through in race number 10 and hopefully provide some value. Number 1, Mojo Man, with that number 1 draw, he could be the horse to play some swingers, trifectas, and quartets with, but I think Don Karori could be the value, and hopefully you have a wonderful day's racing, and we'll catch you at the races. What you got to do is like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and everything from Gallop TV will be coming your way.